morning. Welcome to the second episode of the Sticks Twine podcast. Today is Saturday, December 5th. I really kind of had to giggle at myself for the first episode when I even got my own Ravelry name wrong. Like, duh. Anyway, I'm Eric. I'm e.p.lutz, L-U-T-Z, at Instagram, and I'll get this right this time, eplutz on Ravelry. I'm such an idiot. Anyway, just wanted to welcome you back to the second episode. Thank you so much to everybody who sent such really nice, kind things about the first one. I was super nervous, totally made fun of myself. My friends, some of them that I told that I was doing this were kind of like, Eric, what are you worried about? It's just you. So hopefully you enjoyed. You came back maybe for a second episode, or if it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining. We do have a group on Ravelry now. I wasn't really going to. I thought, you know what, do I have anything really different in a community to say? But I was encouraged by so many people, so I thought, what the heck, we'll do it. Bit of conversation that's happening in there about shawls for men. I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later. And a few other really cool sort of conversations just started. So I'm going to jump right in. I want to say a huge shout out to Natasha and Meredith from Wool Gathering Podcast. Wool Gathering Collective, I guess officially. They're so awesome ladies. They're really cool, and they had some nice things to say about my participation in their group in their last podcast, which was I think submitted last week or was uploaded to YouTube. Everyone who's commented on the blog, there is a blog at sticksplusstwine.com as well. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And lastly, I have to say thank you so much to Jenny and Devin and Colin at Tiny Paper Foxes for being overly generous, but super appreciated on all their kind words and comments about us. So I want to talk a little bit about Jenny a little bit later in the podcast as well. So what's up? What's up is I've been doing a lot of knitting. My hands actually are a bit tired, and I'll show you why in a sec. Because I was up till 3 a.m. last night trying desperately to finish a project for today's podcast. But it's really gray and cloudy outside. Fortunately, our home is kind of 2 walls of glass, so there's enough light, but it's really gloomy outside. It's gray and it's kind of foggy and it's a little bit chilly and it's not that great out. So I thought I wanted to get it done before the light really sort of fades. But I literally have 10 rows left, but the rows are really long and the needles are really big, and I kind of need to take a break. So I thought, what the heck, let's get the podcast done. So first I want to talk about the Wool Gathering Collective Christmas Sock Knit Along. They've got a cal in their group that's going, and it was last week that was cast on. So this is as far as I've gotten this week. I'm just on the heel flap. I'm just doing sort of a slip stitch heel flap. I'll talk about the needles in a sec too. But I love this color. This is Madelinetosh sock in the Moorland colorway. Sorry, I keep making noise there with the needles. I love this yarn. It's so nice. It's really comfortable to work with. But I had cast on using DPNs, and if you remember from last week, I've been kind of struggling with the DPNs versus magic loop, and what do I find, what do I like, and I've tried bamboo, I've tried steel, like metal needles, and this week I just finally went for it, and I bought, and I'm going to dub this the week of the carbons, because it seems like everybody has switched to carbons this week. These are US 2.75 millimeter needles, carbons. Now that I've gone carbon, I don't think I'll ever go back. They're amazing. I was a little bit skeptical, but I was just so frustrated from my needles sort of falling out and the tension and getting ladders sort of between where the stitches were, and it just was making it really frustrating. So I thought, what the heck, they are expensive compared to most other needles, but they're so worth it. I love the fact that they're a little bit grippy in, I guess, the black carbony section. And the steel points just make the stitches just fly off. Forming the stitches really easy and really cool. I think Andy at Andresu Knits just talked a bit on her latest as well about carbons. I feel like there's so much carbonation maybe. Sorry, that was really bad. That I love these. I have an interchangeable set from Knit Picks that I love, and they work with Nerder's Pride needle points as well, which is fantastic. But for this size, for doing sock, they don't go small enough. I think that's been talked about a couple of times, so I'm probably not saying anything new. But these are amazing. I feel like getting this much distance in the sock when using these is just effortless. It's fantastic. So I would really highly recommend them. I love them. I don't know that I'm ever going to go back to doing socks any other way. And as you'll see when I talk a little bit about the stuff I got this week, I haven't come up with the title for it. I like stash enhancement. I love lovely things like Danny from Little Bob and Knits talks about. I just call it stuff I got. It's just stuff I got. I'm apparently the worst person on the planet to buy Christmas presents for, because if I want something, I just go out and buy it, which is kind of bad, I know. But anyway, I'm digressing. So I have these in a bag that I made, and I'm not a good sewist at all, but I'm trying to get better. I'm learning, and it's just a bento free pattern that I found online, and it's super easy. I love these sort of British bobbies, which are kind of fun. I think you can see that fabric there. I've got threads that are loose in it. It's fraying in some parts. I don't care. It's my first one. I love it. So anyway, that's my sock update. So now the big reveal. This beast is, and I know I'm gonna either drop stitches or I'm gonna drop the yarn, but this is the beast. And when I say beast, I mean it's heavy. It's going to be amazing when it's done. I'm in love with this, but oh my god, it's getting hard to work with. So I'm going to start with saying this is all in Madelinetosh DK Superwash, but there's 5 different colors. The pattern isn't really so much of a pattern. Pattern is more of a recipe. It was in Erica Knight's latest book, Simple Color Knitting. And I saw it when I was flipping through the pages. I got it from the local library, and I fell in love with what it was. So I knew it was going to be expensive. She calls for Madelinetosh Tosh DK held double, and you'll see why in a second. And it's just lovely to work with. But I'm going to talk a little bit about one thing. This is the mess that I am left from my yarn winder. I cheaped out on the yarn winder. I didn't buy a good one. I just wanted to see if I'd like it. And I know I'm kind of getting to the end of the skein here anyway, but I'm really, really unhappy with the one that I have. So if you've got a recommendation for a really good one, let me know. I know Knit Picks has one that's not that expensive. I think it's $20 or something. But by the time I add shipping and everything else to it to Canada, it's pretty expensive. I did pick up a few things in Black Friday sales that I did not add that to it, but I should have. Anyway, as I was about 2 o'clock in the morning realizing I needed the last skein to be wound, I just did it by hand because I couldn't be bothered getting out the winder and everything else. So let me talk a little bit about what this is. This is on, so unravel it. I'm just going to hold it double because you'll be able to see it a lot better. These are, like I said, it's 2 strands of Tosh DK in 5 different colors, and the colors that were spec'd out in the recipe were really, really nice, but my local yarn store, I was at Romney Wools, they have a great selection, but they didn't have all those colors. So one of their really kind staff helped me sort of put together a color palette across. And my background is, although I'm an account side, has been in design for the last 15 years. So my color sense is pretty good. But enough talking, I'm just gonna show it. So, I might have to actually stand up for this, but the chair's going to make a noise and I don't want to do that. It starts out with whiskey barrel at the very bottom. It's all garter stitch. So you can imagine, what is this? This is almost, I'd say 4.5 feet unstretched of garter stitch by a width of this much. So you can imagine it's getting heavy and it's getting frustrating to work with, but I'm almost at the end. I just have to push through. So back to the colors. It starts with whiskey barrel and then gradates into Seawash, Seawash then gradates into Baltic. Baltic then gradates into Mourning Dove. And then Mourning Dove is gradating into Fog. And to me, my partner and I spend a lot of time, when we go on holiday, we go on cruises. And a lot of the time, not always, but we do a lot of cruising. And these colors just reminded me so much of the sea. And I think that was kind of the point. But the pattern, or the recipe technically, is called the Phased Throw from Erica Knight out of Simple Color, her new book, and I love it. Love it. There were a couple of times when I wasn't quite paying attention. I was watching podcasts, and I kind of messed up on one of the stitches, and I realized afterwards that I am not going to go back and pull down everything down to this point. I'm not doing it. I've done it before. I'm not doing it again. So you can see I am nearly done. I have 10 rows left, but the rows are super long. So I promised last week that I would get it done and I would show you. So I've shown you, but I'll just take pictures. Check my Instagram probably tomorrow. It'll be done. Come heck or high water, it's going to get done today. So those are the big works in progress. I'm just going to put this back over here because it's heavy. Okay. So as I said earlier, I'm kind of loving sock knitting. So what did I add this week? Well, I'm going to start here. I bought 3 different sock yarns, and you can see behind me is all stuff I want to talk about. So I bought a skein of Patons Kroy Socks FX. I just wanted to try it. I want to see if I liked it. I think there were a couple of people that I watched on a couple of podcasts that talked about how Kroy Sock actually is pretty indestructible and really durable. So I wanted to try it. It doesn't feel the greatest, but I have a feeling, and maybe you can tell me if I'm deluding myself. But it says it's 75% washable wool, 25% nylon. So I'm imagining it's going to be pretty hardcore. Made in Turkey, packaged in Canada. I don't know, and I really kind of like the way that the variegation between the blues and the grays sort of looks. If you haven't been able to tell, blue is my favorite color. So I'm kind of looking forward to trying that out. And then I really liked this idea of the sort of the faux Fair Isle yarn. So this one is the Regia 4-ply. This is the design line by Arne and Carlos. And this is colorway, what is this, 03762. Yeah. As a person who works in design and branding, I really wish they'd come up with better color names. Maybe it does in Europe, I don't know. But this is 75% wool, 25% polyamide. So I'm imagining it's relatively similar, but I'm curious to see how these two knit up. I think this one's going to be just more of a variation in density of color, whereas this I am super looking forward to. There was one that was knit up. I got this at Romney Wools, and there's one that was knit up, and I loved how it turned out. I can't wait to see this. This is going to be interesting. This is, I think, might be my next one, unless, here's the thing. When I was finishing my last sock knitting class last week at the Knit Cafe here in Toronto, which I'll show you the finished socks in a minute too, I had found this. This is Indigo Dragonfly, which is a Canadian dyer. And I think I was actually kind of surprised. I was catching up with a bunch of back podcasts with Little Bobbin Knits, and I saw she had some, and I thought, hey, that's great. They have an amazing geek club, which is all sort of a yarn club that has colorways that are mystery that will come, I think it's, you can look it up. It's Indigo, what is the website's indigodragonfly.ca. But their names are based on popular culture stuff that I'm in love with. So there's Firefly, a couple of names from the series Firefly. There's a couple from Doctor Who. There's a couple from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And this colorway, I'm going to put a picture in here as well, so hopefully I can get the color a little more accurate. It's called Don't Blink. So anyone who knows Doctor Who knows where this is from. And this is in Merino nylon sock, 80% superwash Merino, 20% nylon. I had shown this colorway on the website to my partner thinking, oh, I know he wants a pair of socks. I know he wants me to make him a pair. But I kind of think I might have to make these for myself. And fortunately, I have more sock yarn, so I can make him something else. But these might have to be for me, because I love this color. It's got all the most amazing colors. Actually, my car is kind of sort of around this color. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. It feels super amazing, and I can't wait to try them. And who knows? I might actually take a road trip one day to Indigo Dragonfly, and then I could show you on the podcast. So, what else have I picked up? Well, let's talk a bit about semi-finished objects. They're not work in progress, they're semi-finished. Tell you what. I have a bad habit. Never mind, second sock syndrome. I have second slipper syndrome, which is not good. One slipper, another slipper. Very different patterns, but there's only one of each. And I really have to finish the second ones. I've kind of decided that I was going to make slippers for people because I thought, oh, they're fast and they're quick and they're easy to knit, and they are. This is a pattern, it's a free pattern on Ravelry, I believe, from the Knit Cafe. And it's a French word called pantoufle, Pantoufles. And if you check my Ravelry, I think it's one of my projects in there. And it's a really simple project. You essentially start at the toe. And it's a really strange thing when you start at the toe. It starts with like 4 stitches and then increase and increase and increase. And I started these on DPNs. These were on Hi-Hias, I think. And I'm not going to give you the needle size because I changed the needle gauge on these because the person that I was making these for has size 13 feet. And the pattern only goes up to, I think, a size 10 or 11. So I thought I'm just going to make these bigger. And they knit up really quick and fast. And this is in Cascade 120 Superwash. I have a bunch of different colors. You'll find it in the show notes. And so I did the first one, and I gave it to, this is actually from my business partner's husband, and I gave it to her to have him try on because his feet are quite wide. I wanted to make sure that they fit. So they fit. I just have to make the second one now. But I kind of don't want to because I found a better pattern. And I don't want to frog it. It's done. I'll do it. I'll suck it up and I'll do it. These, however, and it was so funny because I just saw on Danny's Instagram today, I think she made the same pattern. These are from Temple of Knit, which is another one of my current obsessions. Love them. And these are just simple house socks. But what I love is these are actually from my mother-in-law, and she doesn't speak English. She only speaks French. So that's actually not a bad thing because I know she's not going to watch this, so that's great. But I love this color. Love, love, love this color. Again, I don't know how accurate the camera is going to be, so I'll probably insert a picture here so you can see it. But it is done, essentially you knit flat for the garter stitch portion, and then you knit in the round for the stockinette portion. So, and then you get up to the toe decreases. I did these on DPNs. I may do them on circulars next time. I may just magic loop them because, and we'll talk about magic loop in a minute. And then I kind of did a quasi Kitchener toe on the end because now that I know how to do Kitchener stitch, I can Kitchener toe things. But what I love about these is you can knit them a little bit smaller so they go faster. But because it's in garter stitch, it's stretchy, so it'll stick, it'll sort of snug to the foot. So I didn't have a size for her to use. I just kind of guessed. I know she's got relatively small feet, so I think these will be really nice. So I'm going to make the rest of the socks sort of slippers for gifts out of this pattern. I really, really like them. So that's a great one. You'll find the link in the show notes as well to that. So let's talk a little bit about a finished object because I want to talk about these ones. These are the finished socks from my sock knitting class. They're huge. I'm surprised at how big they are, but they fit. So I did get some sock blockers this week at Romneyville. I think these are Knitter's Pride. And I did block them. I used the soak wash in yuzu, which smells really great. Although wet wool from Rowan, these are Rowan wool, it really had a bit of a weird smell to the point where my partner asked me, what the heck is that smell? And I knew it wasn't the wash because the yuzu smells amazing, but these do give a little bit of an odor when they're drying. They didn't take very long. I've been dying to wear these because my feet are a bit cold, but I didn't want to put them on until after I podcasted. So, but those are really fun. I really, really enjoyed making these. They were super fast. And for anyone who's never knit socks before, I would highly recommend learning on something like this as opposed to something tiny fiddly using sock weight yarn, because you can really see what you're doing as you're doing the heel flap and turning the heel and doing the gusset, picking up the stitches. You can really see and understand what you're supposed to do. So now I feel really confident that when I get to that point in the next pair of socks that I'm going to be able to do that no problem. But what I found was really interesting was that making the socks, although these ones are big, I love the fact that it's something small that I can just put in my backpack if I have time sort of between meetings, if I feel like doing something, if I need to change of pace just to get my creative juices flowing. I can just pick it up, throw on a couple of rows, get it done, and then go back to doing what I'm doing, as opposed to the massive throw from the bottom of the ocean, which I can't take anywhere with me because I can barely flip it around to turn the rows now. Anyway, I thought those were really cute. Wanted to show. So now I can put them on my feet because my feet are kind of cold. But what I also found, I bought too much this week, guys. I really did. It's not good. Jenny calls it the Festival of Wool Piggery, and I think that's gone cross-border. I'm in trouble. Sorry, had a little thirst there. We'll talk about that in a sec. I have too much to share. Sorry. What am I drinking today? So what I'm drinking today is household blend tea from Fortnum and Mason. It was apparently created in the 1920s to satisfy the taste buds of all members of the family. Complex blend of Ceylon FBOP, special low-grown Assam Finest GFBOP, I don't know what that means, and Darjeeling Second Flush TGBOP, noble in taste and unequaled in thirst-quenching qualities. Each pot is a transport of delight. Can you tell it's British? I love British packaging. It's great. It smells amazing. It's in this really great kind of heritage tin. I bought this a while ago when we were in London. If you've never been to Fortnum & Mason, if you go to London, you must go. I highly recommend it, but do not go on any Saturday in November and December because it's a nightmare. It's a zoo. But it is an amazing shop, and I love their teas. They're great. So that's what I'm drinking, in case you're curious. If you're not, that's okay. I want to talk about this for a second. Another finished object. I have a friend who is moving to Paris, and it's really unfortunate that everything that happened in Paris just happened because it's given us some, little bit of cause for concern for her moving there. But I wanted her to have a little piece of home. She's taking a bit of a sabbatical and has always wanted to live in Paris, so she's doing it, so good on you. But I had made this hat originally for a gift anyway, but I kind of was thinking I might keep it for myself because I love the color. This is out of Purl Soho worsted twist that I got on sale. This is the ice blue colorway, and I loved knitting with this. It's gorgeous. It blocked out beautifully. I love it. It feels so good and warm and fuzzy. But it was missing the pom-pom, and I did not have enough left of this skein to do a full pom-pom. It said to order 2 to do the hat with the pom-pom. This is their classic cuffed hat pattern from Purl Soho as well. It's a free, I believe it's free, or I got it as a sign up. When you sign up for email, you get a free download, something like that. And it went super, super fast, like really, really fast. I think I did this in an afternoon. But I knew I wanted a faux fur pom-pom. This is faux fur, this is not real. So please don't get all up on me for that. It's not real. So I found that Bernat sells faux fur pom-poms, which I kind of liked. And so I actually found, it's funny, it was a joke in my office with my business partner that I was sourcing faux fur pom-poms, which is kind of crazy. But I couldn't find them. Finally, I found them actually on walmart.ca, ordered a whole bunch of them. And then I got an email saying my order had been canceled for absolutely no reason. No explanation given. I have no idea what happened. Maybe they just ran out of stock. Who knows? So I was trying to find them. And then I got a tip that a store in Toronto called Mokuba, I believe it's the only store in Canada of that chain. It's a Japanese ribbons and sort of finishing and trimmings kind of store, I believe, had these in. So I went and bought it. It was not cheap, guys. They have 3 different sizes. The medium size was, I think, $11 Canadian, almost $12. This one was like $20. But you know what? It's a gift. It's for a friend. She's very special to myself and my partner. We're going to miss her terribly, and I want her to have a little piece at home. So that's going to be a fun little hat for her that she can wear. All right, I have notes here. I just want to make sure I have notes. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. So I bought this at the Knit Cafe. What I found was really fascinating when I was there, they were the only real game in town if you wanted to buy Brooklyn Tweed yarns in person. I believe. I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong. Please forgive me or correct me. Tell me in the show notes. Send me an email. Whatever. That's cool. But that's where I had bought the shelter that I made the Ninian hat and the Knoll mittens out of. And, my Knoll adaptation of mittens. That I won't give Michelle Wong the horror of thinking that those were her design. They were her shape, but they were not her design. I just did those, if you remember from last week, just in plain stockinette. Anyway, they now carry, at the Knit Cafe, they carry shelter, plus loft, plus quarry. And guys, I want to love it so much. I want to be a fan of it. I am a fan of the colors. The colors are amazing. The designs are second to none. I think what they've done with Brooklyn Tweed is just amazing. It's going to be, it'll be a future blog post about how I feel about how they've sort of encapsulated a lot of the regeneration of the high-end craft of knitting and the sort of end-to-end process, which I love. But I know a lot of us in the community are really disappointed in the yarn because it just pulls apart so easily. It's frustrating. I think Kristen talked a little bit about it earlier as well, that she doesn't care for it. I know Maria on Stitch in Sweden seems to knit a lot in loft, and I don't know how she does it because it just looks, I tried it and I didn't pull it apart obviously because I didn't want to ruin the skein or the hank of yarn there, but oh my god, it felt even more delicate than the shelter did. You know, Jenny tried knitting something in quarry and it was just pulling apart. So I know, Jared, I love you. I love your design. I love your company. I love your brand. But for the love of God, put some strength in your yarn. Not all of us are super delicate. A lot of us are, you know, like me, I have ham hands, I guess. But I want to love your yarn so much more than I do. So that's all I wanted to say. If you're in Toronto and you wanted to get some Brooklyn Tweed, there's a place to get it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that I have a hard time, this is confession time, I have a hard time finishing projects. I have a hard time getting things sewn up. I've knit them all, knit all the pieces for 2 presents for friends. One who may watch this, so I'm not going to talk about it until I'll take pictures and I'll post them later. The second one, I doubt she's going to watch it, so I'll tell you. I bought a kit from We Are Knitters. It's a sweater called the Indri sweater, INDRI, and I didn't get the needles with it because I didn't really need the needles, but it was in the baby wool, the petite baby wool in alpaca in pink, and it's a beautiful sweater. It was my first sort of approach to, I won't say it's lace so much, but slightly. And it took some thinking, and it took some doing because it's knit on size 8 US needles. And I'm sorry, I know everybody's asked me to quote what US needles are in metric as well. I'm sorry, I don't know what a US 8 is in metric. I learned on US sizes, and so I'm trying to get my mindset into that. So sorry. But I've got all the pieces done. I just have to sew it all up together. So I've decided I'm going to do sew up Sundays. I'm going to do stashing Saturdays and sew up Sundays. So I organize my stash on Saturdays, and then I sew up stuff and get it done and out and finished on Sundays. That way I can start the week with a clear conscience and not be like, oh gosh, I have that stuff that's sitting in a Ziploc bag that I really have to sew up and finish. So that's what I'm going to start doing. So let me know if you do the same thing, or how do you motivate yourself to, like, once you've done it's off the needles, how do you just get it finished and done? So I wanted to talk a little bit about men's shawls. So I started having a conversation. There's a thread in the Ravelry group And a couple of us, including my sisters and her, are talking about shawls for men. And I just don't know that they're necessarily for me, but I was willing to take a look. So there were a couple of recommendations, and I did pick one. It's a shawl pattern that has a scarf variant. So my compromise is this. I'm going to try the scarf variant and see how I like it. It's a Stephen West pattern, and it's called the Gillis shawl. So I bought the pattern already, and I loved the fact that it comes out and it knits into a full arc as a scarf. So it's not a shawlette, because I feel like that for a guy is a bit, I don't know if I want to wear a shawlette, but let's just say it's a really long scarf. Maybe it's a scarfette. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, I bought the yarn for it. Yeah, I know, I bought too much again. This is Cascade Yarns, Cascade 220 Heathers. I have not I haven't knit with Cascade 220 before. Most of the worsted I've bought is from Michaels, because usually I'm knitting for kids or stuff, and I don't really care if it's. I needed to be able to go in the wash and not even worry about it. So usually it's acrylic. Don't tell. But for me, this is the one that I chose. So this is the Birch Heather colorway. And I'm actually really looking forward to using it. It feels a little bit, for next to skin scarf, I don't know, it feels like it might be a bit scratchy, but I'm kind of hoping once it blocks out, it might be better. So you tell me what I'm in for. Should be a fast knit though. It looks like it'd be fast knit. So I got 2 skeins of that. Ta-da! But they're not caked up. So you'll notice I haven't really caked up anything because I hate my yarn winder so much. I did order on Black Friday from Knit Picks. I ordered the Swift, and I think it was actually their. I ordered that, and I think I ordered their blocking set, the intro blocking set. Came with like pins, and I think it's got wires, and it's got some blocking mats and stuff like that. But I got 20% off on Black Friday, and I think I got free shipping, which to Canadian is like, oh, big deal. Free shipping. Anytime there's free shipping, I will go there. Anyway, I've totally digressed. But this is what I'm going to be casting on as soon as I finish the throw from Heck. I'm trying to really watch my language, can you tell? I swear like a trucker all the time. So I'm really trying to keep this PG. But as soon as I finish that shawl, oh my god. As soon as I finish the throw, I'm going to cast on for my shawl. So we'll see what happens with there. I really admire guys like Josh from Sort of a Knitter who can wear with confidence, shawls of different colors and stuff. And if you haven't watched this podcast, it's hilarious. I get a real kick out of him, just because he's so authentic. And he can't be anyone but himself, obviously, and nor should any of us. And I just love his approach to it. So anyway, that's that. What else do I want to talk about? I know what else. So, I told you I bought too much this week. I also got from Molly, from the Homespun House, I got a few things that came in the post yesterday. I was hoping they'd arrive in time. A couple things that I was hoping would arrive in time. So, these are, and I'll put a picture up in the side as well so you'll see it a little more closely. But these are, I got a progress keeper and 2 stitch markers. One is a teapot, one is a tea bag, and then I got this little tiny teddy bear because it just was really kind of fun. So thanks, Molly. I think those are really, really cute and came quickly, and I love them. I can't wait to start using them, which I'm probably going to start using as soon as I start on another pair of these guys, because I kind of want to keep an eye on where the start and ends are of the rows. So that's awesome. I love these. These are great. Put those over there for safekeeping. What else? Okay. You'll see, I don't know if you can see this behind me. This is a rotary cutting mat set that I bought. Michael's had a Black Friday coupon, 50% off. And by the time I did all the math, it's something I've really wanted for a while. Because I am doing, thanks to Jenny. Oh, Jenny, you're getting me to do too much stuff. I really wanted to get into more sewing, not for sale or anything, just for stuff for me, stuff for friends, that sort of stuff. So it was a really good sale. I got the whole thing for $35, which to an American, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, it's way too much. Canadian, that's a good price. The horrible thing is there's a Michael's literally in about a 5-minute walk from my house. So anytime there's a sale, especially these time-limited ones, I can just like jump out and go get it. So that's what that is. But I also got this week the hard copy of Capsule of the collection. It's been on order at the Knit Cafe for a little while, for I guess about 2 weeks or so. And I know there's primarily patterns for women in here, but Olga's designs are just so stunning. And as a fan of photography and the engineering and construction of garments, I just had to have it. So there are a couple in here that I talked about last week for making the red and white fingering. I think it was actually line weight from Purl Soho. And it is going to be the Jujika. That is, I think it's amazing. It's going to be super Swiss, super Euro. I love it. I hope it's going to come out right in terms of gauge. But the nice thing is I don't care that much about the gauge on this because it's long enough as a cowl that it doesn't really matter. It's going to work for me. As long as I can sort of fold it over double, it's going to be awesome. I hope that's coming out okay on camera, but you can always look it up on Brooklyn Tweed. There's a couple more patterns in here that I'm interested in making. I'm certainly not making the ebb dress. The Tetrapods scarf shawl is pretty cool too. I might make that for a present. I know somebody that I think would probably really like that. I think these arm warmers, the Tatara arm warmers, are just amazing. I don't know if you've taken a look at those, but they look like they're sort of scrunchy arm warmers, but it's in the way that it's knit. And Olga, you're a master of construction. I love this. I do know somebody, you know who you are, who said somewhere in a post, and I couldn't find it, I wanted to reference it, but I know who it was that posted it, was considering making the Nobu and was unsure as to whether or not she could pull it off. Girl, you could pull this off. This would be amazing. And it's so, even in this colorway, it's so in your realm. But the photography in this book is stunning, as it would be from Jared. The patterns are well written. I like charts. I don't know if anybody else does. How do you feel about charts versus anything else? But I really like them. I find it much easier to follow. What I usually do, I haven't touched this book yet. I literally have been trying to keep my hands off it so I can finish, the throw from heck. But I don't know that I will. I may just scan the page on the chart because I like when they're color coded. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be showing that. I might edit that out. Bleep. But the charts are great. And the construction information, all of it's there. So I'm going to go back and edit that out because I don't want to show the chart. That was a big boo-boo. Sorry, we're back. I didn't mean to show the chart, so that's why there was a clip there. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for that. I don't want to get in trouble. So I don't even know how much this was. I couldn't tell you. I bought yarn at the same time, and I bought a whole bunch of it. So I don't really know how much it was. It'll be different for you anyway, unless you're Canadian, because our prices are very different. But I love this, and for me, this will be sort of a keepsake heirloomy piece. I really like it. I know this is Capsule 1 for fall 2015. I can't wait to see what Capsule 2 is going to look like. I would love to see some designers like Michelle Wong do one. Julie Hoover is my favorite, bar none, Brooklyn Tweed designer. I love Jared Flood's work too, but Julie Hoover's sense of shape and proportion and color and the juxtaposition of all those pieces together just really speaks to me. So I really like her stuff. Sorry, I'm just changing pages. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So I'm thinking there's a lot of cows going on right now. There's the Christmas ornament cowl, there's the holiday ornament cowl, there's, Kristen's got the stonecutter cowl that she's on, there's the cable cowls, there's the Natasha and Meredith's Christmas sock cowl that I'm participating in as well. There's a lot of swaps happening, so I'm not going to start any cows now. But I would like to do a New Year's Day, or Eve if you prefer. I don't know. What do you think? Eve, day? Cast on. I have an idea. I would like it to be men's garments focused or men's accessories of some kind. There will be prizes. I don't know what they are yet, but I've got a pretty good sense of what I want to give. And I like giving things to people in a big way. So I think I want to make it, if I make it a men's garment, there's so few, you can't make tiny little garments for men. They're big garments. So I think the prize should be commensurate with that. So it's going to be a big deal. But I'd love to hear if you've got interest in that. I know what I would like to make. I've already got the yarn in my stash. I spent I guess it was last Sunday actually. So maybe it should be sew up Saturdays and stash Sundays. I don't know. Yeah, that makes more sense. Just to keep the pattern, you know? I literally dumped out my entire stash on my bed and went through and sorted everything out and got everything packed away into Ziploc bags with the pattern so that I know what's going to be there, and I have it all marked. So I've got all the materials, because I've got probably about 4 sweaters worth of material that eventually I will make. So that's what I would like to do for the beginning of January, for either the 31st of December or the 1st of January. But what do you think? If you're interested, let me know. But here's the big news. I am going to be going to Vogue Knitting Live in New York in January. I believe it is the 15th, 16th, 17th. I'll be arriving on the 15th in the morning. We're staying really close to the venue, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm lucky I got in when I did, because there was a couple of things that I really wanted to see. I don't even remember how I found out about it, and just jumped on it the minute the registration opened. And so I am going to be doing the knitting in Japanese with Maria of Subway Knits. I can't wait. That's going to be so much fun. I got into the second class of that. The first one I was sold out like that. But I'm into the second one, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also taking the Getting Over Your Fear of Seaming and Finishing, because, as I already told you, I don't like to finish things. So I don't know if it's a fear so much. Maybe it is. It's a bit of a mental block. I don't really know what I'm doing. I know how to sew, but it's the weaving in of ends properly and making sure that the ends of garments are accurately put together, that seams are set into their components correctly. Like, I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right. So I thought that would be good. I'm also taking Knitting Magic, which is all about magic loop knitting and Judy's Magic Cast On, and different ways to use those techniques. Again, because I'm a relatively new magic loop knitter, I kind of felt like, yeah, I can muddle through. I figured it out. It's not that hard, actually. But that one might be a bit of a gimme kind of class. But I'm looking forward to seeing what else I can learn. And I'm also in the lecture with Arne and Carlos on Scandinavian knitting and their inspirations for design. That I'm really, really, really looking forward to. That'll be kind of cool. And who knows, if I have my socks finished by then, I just might wear my socks to that class. But here's the big news. Sorry about that. So Jenny and I have been talking, Jenny from Tiny Paper Foxes and I have been talking, and we have decided that we are going to co-host a podcasters meetup on the evening of Saturday the 16th of January. And we're kind of super excited. It'll be the first time that we'll get to meet. I think it'll probably be the first time we'll meet in person ourselves, but we really would like to meet you too. So we're going to put, I think, a thread in. I know I'm going to have one in my group, and I'm sure Jenny will probably communicate with the people in her group as well. And yeah, we're going to be really excited to do that. The venue's being scouted right now. I know Devin's got a few sort of ideas that Jenny was kind of throwing out there. So that'll be fun. It'll be nerve-wracking because I think Jenny and I are both maybe a little shy. I know that I can be. For professionally, I'm not shy at all. I can go and stand in front of 1,000 people and talk about what I do, no problem. But in this venue is a little bit different. So it's going to be fun. We'll figure out some, a great place to sit and talk and meet other like-minded people and knit, and we'll take it from there. I think it'll be a good time. So if you're going to Vogue Knitting Live, definitely let me know. I'll have a thread started, like I said, in the group. And the group is just Sticks Twine, so it's pretty easy to find. So join us if you like. And if you're in New York and you're not going to Vogue Knitting Live, I feel you. It's expensive. But you're still welcome to come to the Podcasters Meetup if you like. You don't have to be going to VKL to go to that. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. I think the only last thing I wanted to say was I wanted to say happy birthday to Jenny. It was her birthday yesterday. I hope you had a really, really great day. We'll miss not having you as part of our Sunday ritual to watch Tiny Paper Foxes, but I think there's a good reason. You know, a birthday is a good enough reason. So I think that's it for me for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Again, anytime you've got questions or comments, feel free to comment either on the YouTube page for this. All the show notes will be in the down bar below. If you haven't already discovered them, that's where they are. They're down there. And the show notes will also be on the blog, sticksplusstwine.com. I've got to get better at putting that on there. But I host on Squarespace, and it's been a bit flaky lately, so I got a bit frustrated and said, forget it, I'll just put it on Ravelry. So it's there as well. So there's 3 places you can find the show notes if you're interested. Other than that, thank you to everybody for joining. Thank you so much for your encouragement and your support, and my friends for not laughing at me as I take on more and more craziness in my life. Anybody who knows me knows I'm already stupid busy, but I can't help it. When you want something done, give it to a busy person. So enjoy. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have an amazing week upcoming. The holidays are coming, so I don't know if I'll be able to podcast next week. I'm going to try, but I'll be out for the day on the Saturday when I usually like to podcast, so it might be the following Sunday. Bear with me. Might throw something in the middle. Don't know. We'll see. But have fun. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.